All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are on episode 50, Big 50 of the Samurai Brothers podcast. And Matthew, we have some big topics to discuss today. First one is One Piece, chapter 1157. So we're really getting to that point. And then the Banzuke, the rankings for sumo, is going to release next week. So you and I both filled out entries for the sumo game Guess the Banzuke. So we'll discuss that at the tail end of this episode for today. So we'll get right into it. Obviously, we've had a lot of things developing in the One Piece world. We're still in Loki's flashback, but we're getting a lot of stuff and information, obviously. So, Matthew, let's jump right into it. Chapter 1157. So, kind of jumping right into it. The Rocks Pirates are invading a country. Looks like the Embezzle International Charity Sanctuary. Now, I'm kind of the idea that, this was probably the English translators naming it that way, embezzle. Because obviously, when you embezzle money, you're taking it away. I'm kind of curious as to what the Japanese name of that charity sanctuary is. But anyway, we see that everyone's trying to get away. Looks like some people have been left below in where the cache was, and Shiki. He feigns to help his crewmates, but instead he drops a bomb in there. And
Which
we see
blows them out, apparently.
Yeah, well, actually, no. The thing that actually gets them out of the hole is Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi powers. Because it was Whitebeard, Kaido, and Kyo, um, known as the Silver Axe. He
And
was
Cho
the
didn't like Shiki trying to kill him again.
Yeah. So we obviously are seeing the whole thing with the Rocks Pirates, based on that Sengoku described them as a real cutthroat crew, not not shy at all to double cross each other. So that is obviously becoming um, you know apparent with what's going on. But obviously,
The reality is they are made up of people who had to swear loyalty to Rocks because they lost in the Davy back fight. And
yep.
According to pirate tradition, if you lose a Davy back fight and you're chosen to go to that crew, you have to.
Yep. So we do see a discussion. I thought this is interesting that Kaido is he says that he's jealous of Whitebeard Newgate having a devil fruit power. So we know at this point that he doesn't have one. In fact, I think based on the past chapters, it was at God Valley that Kaido got his fruit. So obviously he's
because by that time Big Mom already had hers. So
right.
Whatever the devil fruit that she got, which she got from Ginny,
right.
She didn't need it,
right. Which is an interesting thing. So once they finish with that raid, they do have a armada of Navy ships.
I was gonna point out though the fact that when Kaido voiced his envy of Whitebeard through Whitebeard, who's clearly one of the more honorable / compassionate members of the crew, was said, "Be careful." It's like very good life lesson. Be careful. You've only got one chance.
One chance at it, right?
And also of note is young Kaido was already the size of Whitebeard.
Yep. So obviously the armada of the Marines / Navy have shown up. We've got Whitebeard saying that was it possible that they were tipped off by someone? Who knows? But Rocks obviously relishes in the challenge. And here's where things we're starting to see the history of the Rocks Pirates and probably why they were, it was kind of an embarrassment for the Marines and the
They
world
showed
government.
some big numbers there.
Yeah. So within 2 years of their founding, they have 16 recorded raids, 76 sunken ships, 14 ports burned to the ground, 5 towns leveled, 1 kingdom brought to ruin, 3 special violations of Article 18 of world law, and 25 crimes that were completely covered up. So whatever Article 18, that would probably be an interesting one to see if they expand on that in One Piece lore.
I'm sure they will.
Because obviously we don't really know about what the constitution is of the world government, or their laws that they have, obviously when they're going to prosecute and bring criminals to justice.
They clearly were the greatest recorded pirate crew of the world.
Yes.
If they were able to do all of that, no one else, not any of the individual emperors, not Gold, not Shiki, not Roger, no one else was able to accomplish stuff like that.
Yeah.
They basically were unmolested.
Yeah.
They also forgot to mention the fact that, of course, Rocks killed an admiral. No one else killed an admiral.
I'd probably say that that's probably one of the 25 crimes that was covered up, because they certainly would not want that, on record, public record.
Because of how panicky the general population would have been. Like, it's like, he killed an admiral. He'll kill an admiral.
So
they show the conversation of between Kong and Garp Sengoku and I forget
which
her name.
We're going to get to.
Right.
It does say that Roger was sailing at the time, although he is a rookie at this point. The era is known as the era of Rocks. In a country called Anishi in the New World, Harold decides to defend the population who has been covered. They are a unaffiliated country of the world government. So obviously the world government sees as they please to do whatever to the population. Harold obviously defends this country because this country gave Elbaf food during the famine. And we do see that the World Economic Journal is obviously off to its shenanigans because the headline of an article after Harold attacks the ship is that King Harold of Elbaf shows his true stripes after feigning allegiance to the government. So obviously,
I wonder if that one means the World Economic Journal has been through several hands, or Big News Morgan is maybe older than we might think he is.
Yeah, he's very much a mystery, as much as some of the other characters that we've seen in the One Piece world. I mean, it's kind of amazing.
Being that he's that he has an airship, which the world government doesn't use airships.
Right.
Being that he uses an airship, it's possible that, for all we know, he could be from. I'm not gonna say the Void Century, but he could definitely be an old
No, he's probably been around. Just not that old. I wouldn't say he's not that old. The only living character right now that I'm aware of in the One Piece world that is from the Void Century would be
Zunisha,
yeah.
Zunisha.
So we do see that Rox is back at Elbaf, visiting Harold again, and Harold has his
shaved his head.
He's got the look that we see from when we saw him the first time in the series a few chapters back. Ida is obviously running her own bar away from all the capital. But yeah, Rox really wants Harold to join, or at least have an alliance And you know, it's kind of funny that the potential that Rox sees in Harold, he's the only pirate that he's actively trying to recruit without using the Davy back fight.
Well, I don't. He's left a pirate. Well, Harold was only a pirate in his earlier days, so my assumption would be that once you leave the piracy life, you can't really do a Davy back fight.
Mm,
If
maybe.
you know, if that would be like if someone would want to do a Davy back fight with Captain Kuro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we still don't know what happened to Kuro. The anime suggests
there's a few of those villains. You know, they're around.
the anime suggested that Kuro went back to the pirate's life. The anime did that. The manga didn't say anything.
No,
We just know,
a lot of fates of the earlier villains have been very ambiguously.
like Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan. Well, Morgan's around. He's who knows what he's doing. Krieg, you know, he's somewhere. Kuro, obviously.
Oh no, we know where Krieg is. He's on what's his name? A Fuller Head.
Was he?
Yeah, they show a background shot where he Gin and what's the shield guy? They're all on Fuller Head.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's in a background shot. They don't really have any conversation, but they're on Fuller Head. So they made it to the new world and made it to Fuller Head.
Interesting. Here's something that Harold has pointed out, that the Marines have accepted recruits from Elbaf into their ranks, and obviously the first person, and this is technically, I think, the first giant that ever came up in the series, which is John Giant. John Giant is mentioned here, and I think he truly was the first giant, even though it wasn't made apparent, you know, until a lot later, you know, that he was the first giant, and especially from Elbaf, to make an appearance in the series.
Wasn't he at the Summit War?
He was at the Summit War, yes. In fact, he tried to personally attack Whitebeard.
Yeah, there were a bunch of giants at the Summit War, some of whom tried to attack Whitebeard, some of whom tried to attack Little Ors Jr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're all there. And as far as, you know, Rox tries to get Ida to convince Harold to join him, but she says that she would tell Harold to choose better friends. So that's an interesting thing we have. On the flip side,
they show in the background that apparently Loki at this time is living with Ida.
Yeah, at least it looks that way. Obviously, the brothers are not talking or looking at each other. Now, we get to the point where you mentioned that Kong makes an appearance
as an admiral.
First time in a long time. Yes, he is an admiral, because he does become the commander in chief. Obviously, before that, he'll become fleet admiral. But at this time, Otsuru, Sengoku, and Garp are all discussing with him about stuff. And
they're all vice admirals at this point.
Yeah, they're all vice admirals. And think about this. It's like they've been vice admirals for 40 plus years.
So here's the thing. I'm willing to bet Otsuru has a similar philosophy to Garp, because she's this old vice admiral. She probably could have become an admiral. If you're a vice admiral at 30 something years old, you probably could become an admiral. But like Garp, she didn't want to become fully subordinate to
she leans towards moral justice.
Yeah, she didn't want to become subordinate to the world nobles, so she passed up that promotion X number of times.
Yeah. Obviously, they're talking about the giant. I think they're talking about the giant recruits. You know, whether or not that's a good thing. Although, which one is saying that? Oh, okay. Garp really wants Elbaf to be in the world government because it looks like he thinks that they'll be a valuable asset to the world government. What we're seeing here. That makes me think that Harold probably was going to have the opportunity to join the world government. And it probably was, maybe it was the God Knights that were the ones who assassinated him.
Because they wanted Elbaf as
slaves, right? I think more or less slaves to the.
Well, from the sound of it, they wanted the giants directly under military control. Whereas if they joined as a formal nation, they would be given a lot more freedom in how they did stuff.
Yeah, a lot more benefits. But yeah, something that the world government couldn't publicly do versus if they force them into control.
Yeah, that's why they use the God Knights, because the God Knights are I'm not gonna call them a black ops because they're definitely government controlled. They're more like classified
yeah, I mean, I don't
like a classified they're more like a not a I'm trying to think of, they're more like a special forces unit whose actions you don't hear about unless it's Osama bin Laden. You don't hear about those actions until like 100 years later when it's declassified.
Yeah, I think if you were to kind of break that down, CP9 was Black Ops at the time when they existed. CP9 was Black Ops. CP0.
Because CP9 was espionage because they're not military.
Right.
The God Knights don't do espionage. They're legitimate military.
Right. The CP0, even though they're not,
they're more like the Secret Service. If I'd give the comparison,
that might be a good way of putting it out because the public knows about CP0.
I'd call them the Secret Service.
Very powerful Secret Service. Definitely. So it looks like
there's a lot of organizations that have a lot more power in the world government than I mean, you even think of like at the height of the Soviet Union, what the power that the Spetsnaz has, no comparison. Or name any organization, the SS under Nazi Germany. It's it's like they might have had good espionage, but in the end they were Germany fell. So
it looks like we do skip another 2 years in the flashback to now 42 years ago. And if memory serves me correctly, 42 years ago is when the God Valley incident will take place.
So we're right at the God Valley incident.
So we're now in the timeline of the God Valley incident. But it looks like the first thing that happens was when you go to Full of Lead Island.
Gloriosa.
The news is that Shakuyaku has relinquished her position as captain of the Kuja Pirates.
So she's got love sickness.
Yep. And obviously we got a lot of pirates wishing that, saying that they became pirates because they wanted to be boarded by Shakuyaku. That's an interesting thing. Yes. And then we see, and Gloriosa she's like, what is Shaki doing? And then Big Mom is there. She notes that, well, maybe she quit because she wanted to chase after a man, just like you did, Gloriosa. Even the island of women can't defeat love, it seems. And then here's the retort from Gloriosa to Linlin, which obviously we see, in the current timeline. Gloriosa says, I didn't expect you to understand the agony of true love with the way you crank out babies like popcorn. So obviously, and again, who was it? It might have been either Mr. Morge or O'Hara or
Grand Line Review pointed out the fact that the way the timeline is, Big Mom
had to probably hooking up with.
She pumped out a few babies while she was with the Rocks Pirates.
And more than likely, probably a number of those Rocks Pirates crew members were the fathers of
Yeah,
a
because how else
number.
would have worked?
Yeah. I think
Which
though
is
it
kind
really
of
does.
a crazy thought, because just like, oh, what if some of their fathers are Shiki? What if some of their fathers are Whitebeard?
Well, like, she's got the triplets here, and what is it? The theory is that the triplets with Katakuri and Oven, and I forget who the third one was. But the theory is that for them, the father is probably Silver Axe because of just his build and everything like that, which kind of makes me wonder for like maybe just a thought, maybe because I forget what her oldest son's name was, the one who had kind of the sticky type of fruit. I'm wondering if his
It's not Paris Barrow, right?
yeah, Paris Sparrow.
Okay, yeah.
I'm wondering if his father was Wang Zi. I would not be surprised if it was Wang Zi, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's
I
Lin
do
Lin
find
and
I do find it funny how the not young how like one of the more middle siblings is the one that ended up, basically becoming the post um Lin Lin leader of the Big Mom Pirates.
talk about Katakuri.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so because obviously right now Lin Lin is MIA, just like
Well, and
Kyrie.
Paris Barrow was never like
No, he was never. No,
he was never one of the Sweet Commanders. He just was not leadership material.
he's not a leadership. In fact, he's more of a sneaky type.
Oh yeah,
He works in the background.
he's a conniver.
Conniver, I'd say even
Not that
treacherous.
helped him on not that helped him at
Yeah,
on
at
the Onigashima
yeah,
raid.
Onigashima.
I forgot who took him out at Onigashima.
Oh gosh, I'd have to go back and look at it.
It might not have been. It was not one of the what one of the what's it called. It was not one of
The
the.
scabbards. Maybe it was one of the scabbards. I don't remember.
I know it was not one of the straw hats.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's just
Okay.
what I remember of it.
Well, okay. So, anyway, Bakin obviously trying to convince Newgate to get with her. So this is kind of a 180 from how the Straw Hat Pirates
How does
work
she
in the
become
movies.
Buckingham Stussy?
She is Buckingham Stussy right now.
Okay.
But the Stussy we know in the current timeline is a clone of her.
Right.
And I'm wondering, I think what's his name? Edward Weevil, I think, is a clone of Whitebeard. She somehow managed to get his Stussy somehow managed to get Newgate's DNA.
Always up on him, so
yeah. Well, we'll see. Then so here's where we're getting towards the end of the chapter, and here's where it gets really interesting because the Kuja pirates show up to Fullalet Island, and much to the happiness of all the Rocks pirates there, Shakuyaku is dropped off by Captain Tritoma, and she decides, well, and she has obviously relinquished her Empress title and position of pirate captain, and everyone's obviously wondering why she's there. But obviously she quit because to defeat her lovesickness. Doesn't specify who she's going after, and obviously that's discussion in and of itself.
I was gonna say we eventually know she gets with Silver's Rayleigh.
Yeah, obviously. But she says that she can't really go anywhere because she's a pirate and she'll be chased. So she's gonna hide out with on the Full Lead Island with all the Rocks pirates, which to me makes 100% sense. It's like if you know that there's a really formidable crew, why not, right? If you can't be left in peace, makes all the sense in the world.
And surprisingly, we see Rocks, Whitebeard. Don't we even see Kaido? We see Shiki. I know that. It's like we see these guys who are all stoic normally, like simping over
Whitebeard. Obviously the guy from the gang guys, Shiki. Obviously Blackbeard.
who theoretically might be
I
Capone
don't think
Gateways.
I see. I don't think I see Kaido.
I'm just saying who I well from what I saw of memory. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't see
Yeah,
him
here
in that
let me look it
particular
over as
panel.
well.
But obviously, she makes things really take off because this is her first iteration of the Shacky's ripoff bar.
Yeah, Whitebeard, Rocks.
I see Shiki. I'm guessing that
I don't see Shiki.
no, Shiki's right below.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's right below Whitebeard and to the right of Rocks.
It is funny how yeah.
So anyway, so with
Oh,
that
and then
being said,
we got that last part of the chapter right afterwards.
yes, the last part of the chapter. So obviously in time, Shaki becomes a irreplaceable treasure to the pirates who made the Fullerlet Island their home.
Well, we know that she will eventually make her way to
well, and this is where it points out that and what is treasure if not something that can be stolen? So who knows if it's just that Shaki abandons them for Rayleigh or if Rayleigh somehow picks her up, like he catches on. Who knows? That's going to be, we'll see how that works out in the end. I'm really.
Now, question, I forgot. So in the anime, it made it very clear that when Robin first joined the Straw Hats, she did the exact same wink to Zoro, with Zoro making the exact same reaction as we saw with
Shaki and Rayleigh.
what's his name, and with Shaki and Rayleigh. So is that, I'm trying to remember if if that exact same thing happens
Matthew,
in the manga, or if this might be a case of like a self-fulfilling prophecy or something like that.
That's been a fan theory for ever since it happened. That's been years and years, and you know what?
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember. Was that in the manga as well?
It was in the manga, I believe. Yes, I can go back and look at it. I'm very certain it was. I think the thing is that that's not going to really be built on in the current timeline, at least until the One Piece is found, and then
why do I get a feeling that we're going to see like a flash, another time skip after everything's done?
I think there will be,
and we're gonna see best we're gonna see Mr. Best swordsman in the world with archaeologist Nico Robin.
It could happen, although it's kind of right now, at least the way that Oda has it, because he said there's no romance between the Straw Hats, so I'm gonna ignore. I mean, obviously everyone's got their theories, but I think
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in the present, but just because of the fact that we had that like a very similar hint with a fate generation, will of degeneration earlier, that it might happen down the line. I'm just saying there's the possibility.
So to close out the chapter, it looks like the Gorosei, the five elders, are giving an ultimatum to Harold if he wants Elbaf to be recognized as a world government country, and is simply just kill Rocks. So obviously, the five elders have had enough of Rocks, just terrorizing all the countries. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We do have a break next week from that.
Well, not to mention the fact that Rox again did something that only one other person has done. He discovered Emu.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
So that makes him a liability more than anything else because he knows something he's not supposed to.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But
so that being,
I wonder. Here's what I think might happen. What's his name? The ultimatum. Harold gets the news before he can act on it. God Valley happens.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
At which point they're like, okay, we have no.
Yeah, the offer's off the table.
Yeah, the offer's off the table. We have no leverage on him. So what else are we gonna make him do?
Well, with that being said, so that will close out this chapter. Now, to kind of for the final few minutes, we will talk about there's a game that's run on Sumo Forum called Guess the Banzuke. Obviously, the July Basho is finished. The September Banzuke or rankings is going to be released next Monday, Japan time, which will be Sunday, our time. And Matthew did join. He made his first submission for the game. I've been playing it for a few years, and we'll just quickly go down. The point of the game is obviously to get as many of the rankings correct as possible. If you get the exact rank right, you get 2 points. If you get it at the same level, but if you for example, if you
East or West,
right, East or West, if that was wrong, you do get 1 point. So with that being said, I think we'll look at a lot of where we thought things were going to be. In my mind, I think that they are not going to have more than 2 sekiwake or komosubi.
that's where we differ. I think they're going to do the exact same thing that they did this last basho.
Oh, okay. Well, let's kind of go into that then, and then any other ones we think will happen. Obviously, Onosato.
Let's get the obvious out of the way. Hoshoryu is going to be
West.
Oh, you think he's going to be West?
Yeah, because Onosato finished with the better record.
That's how they do it. Okay.
Yes, at Yokozuna no Zeki, that's how they do it. Sekiwake and Komosubi is really ambiguous. It's, it really kind of is up to how the judging department sees it. But anyway, Onosato will be East Yokozuna. Hoshoru will be West Yokozuna. Kotozakura will stay where he is, just barely. And then, so my picks for Sekiwake, I picked Wakataka Kage. I picked him to move ahead of Kirishima. So I think that Wakataka Kage on the East Sekiwake side, Kirishima on the West Sekiwake side.
That's exactly how I mapped it too.
And then I believe that Aonishiki will be the East Komosubi. Takayasu will stay where he is at the West. And those are the only 2 I have for Komosubi. Obviously,
and
now
that's where I differ. I think Takayasu will be the odd man West Sekiwake. I believe Abi is going to be the opposite to Aonishiki and Komosubi. That's where I have it.
So you think that Takayasu will move up to Sekiwake, Aonishiki will be East Komosubi, and Abi will be West Komosubi.
Right.
Okay. So with that being said, and then I think that Tamawashi is going to be the M1 East. That is obvious with his record, but
I think Hakuoho is going to be the M1, and then Tamawashi will be the West.
Okay. Interesting to say. I think though also with in terms of some of the demotions we had going on, I think with what was it, like Wakamoto Haru, Ono Katsu, they finished 6 and 9. I think they're only going to fall down 2 ranks. I think Oho with the 7 and 8, in recent times, either 7 and 8 wrestlers might stay where they're at, or only slide from East to the West, or only go down maybe half a rank. So I mean, that's always the case. So I think Oho is going to be M2.
So here's my two M2s. Hiradomi on the east, Gonoyama on the west.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I had Gonoyama on the west as well. And then I think, well, so here's the thing where I think since we're running short on time, we got to talk about who all the people who did well at the bottom, where they're going to end up. So I picked Koto Shoho to be M5 East. I picked Kusano to be M6 West. Let's get your thoughts on that, Matthew.
So here's where I picked the people who did well. Atami Fuji I put on M3 East.
Mm-hmm.
I put Ichi Yamamoto because he did well. M5 West.
Uh-huh.
Um, Uda, who barely got a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
And Takanosho, who also got a winning record. I put them both at M7. Uda on the east, Takanosho on the west. Koto Shoho I put on M8 East, Kusano M8 West.
Mm.
And then Midori Fuji, who also got a winning record, put M9 West.
Oh, I did too.
I think Chida Naomi did good as well, right? Or
He did okay. I put him and Shodai both at M11.
I put them both at M10.
Okay. Well, with that being said, because we're going to run out of time here, and then also for the people I brought up from Juryo, I brought up Hitoshi, Ryuden, Nishikigi, Tomokaze, and Shonan no Umi, because it looks like there were 5 people that could drop down.
I put them up as well.
Okay. With that being said, it's going to be interesting to see how it'll go for next week. I think we're hoping to discuss that for as part of our.
And just to confirm, when does the Banzuke actually come out?
It'll come out probably around, probably right before our episode starts for our recording session.
Sunday.
Yes, it will come out Sunday early afternoon. Yep. With that being said, folks, we want to thank you as always for tuning in to watch the podcast, and we will be seeing you next week. Thank you and take care.